I think it's a film about survival. I think, it's about a young woman who's sucked in against her will into I think, considered the horrible world of espionage. And, she's trying to get out. We'd already done 3 movies together and traveled around the world doing press, and we got along really well and loved working with one another. And I think there was a mutual trust that was built over the years, and enjoying each other's work and processes. She's a ballerina that's dancing with the Bolshoi Ballet, and clearly to have excelled in that way, you need to have discipline and ambition and dexterity and an athleticism and a drive and intelligence and sophistication. So there's a lot that goes into being able to do that, and obviously that's something that she carries through to the spy world once she's sucked into that world.
Well, she's very smart. She's been a survivor from the time that she was really young. She's definitely an athlete. She was a prima ballerina at the Bolshoi. And when she's injured, she's kind of manipulated and tricked into this situation to go through this program. But in the program, she uses her mind to suffer through all of this training, and then she comes out kind of more empowered and smarter and frankly more dangerous than they would have ever expected. I don't know if I would have done this movie if it weren't for Francis, because I just would have been too scared. And we have a personal relationship. I've known him for years, so doing those scenes that were really scary for me were easier because I trust him. But more than that, I just trust him as a filmmaker. I knew that he would be able to make all of that dark material really tasteful. That's how we wanted to tell the story, is go all the way. And, Jason Matthews was a CIA officer, and he wrote the book, so he had a lot of insight that was very unique and real. So we'd be remiss if we backed away at all. We had to condense, years of training into like 4 months. So, we mastered arms and head, and that's about it, which is a huge testament to Kurt Froman, who trained me. He was fantastic.
It sort of plays into one of my old favourite dynamics in movies, which is, in terms of the spy genre, or any kind of Secret Service type thing where you both characters have an agenda that's political or national kind of agenda that then kind of gets muddied by the threat of actual romance. And then, for an audience, the excitement becomes not really understanding whether or not the agenda sort of overshadows the romance or vice versa. It's not about seduction, it's more about survival. I think it's more about strength and survival. And I think, one of the great things at the core of the movie, obviously, is the strength of Jen as a person, playing a character who is just, molded into a shape for the purposes of all the men in her life, and then finds a way to kind of, for lack of a better phrase, turn the tables and teach them a lesson, and in not underestimating her. I knew that everything Jen was going to have to go through was not going to be an easy thing for her on set. So to know that she had such a kind of a thoroughly lived in and familiar and strong direct relationship with Francis meant that I could also join that atmosphere without having to feel like I was also... Because, you can walk on eggshells on a set when things are tricky. So to know that those guys had it worked out meant that I felt it gave me more confidence walking into it all too.